If you liked a cornerback in round one, you're going to love a cornerback in round two.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is good, everybody? Matt Derry with you on a Friday night edition of Locked On Lions, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Night number 2 of the NFL Draft is in the books. It's Friday evening, April 26th, and it's Saturday, April 27th. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Excuse the hoarse voice, but it's been a long week. I've been downtown. I've had celebrating Brian Ratner's 50th birthday. I've been all over the map, all over the place, but appreciate all of you guys sticking with me. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts, right here on Locked On Lions. Please subscribe to our Locked On Lions YouTube channel, please, and we would love all feedback and commentary. Want to say sorry, not even sorry. Want to say I'm disappointed. Some of our listeners have apparently left due to my interview the other day with Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Bye. I wish you could stay. I love all our listeners. We did nothing political. We put the governor on the show to talk about Detroit and the draft. And so for those of you that want to call her names and want to use really derogatory language toward another individual and say you're done with our show, that's on you. That's your loss. We're talking Lions football. We're talking draft tonight, and we're sponsored tonight by LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. You can follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks, at Locked On Lions, Matt Derry Facebook fan page, and of course on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Shout out to our everydayers that are out there. I promised some shout outs to some everydayers today. I met a really, really cool a woman recently through networking named Becky Wilson. She's absolutely awesome. Her husband, Jeff, is a huge Locked On Lions fan. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, Becky, and Logan Wilson. Logan's their son. They were down at the draft last night. I got to give them some love and give them a shout out. Also, got to shout out my buddy Sarah Frazier and her husband Sterling, big Steeler fans. Sarah is a buddy of mine from Troy Chamber, and her husband Sterling checks us out too right here on Locked On Lions. So thank you guys for watching and participating. All right, let's get to it. Tonight, the Lions in the second round and pick number 61. And again, excuse the voice, just hoarse, just tired. The Lions went cornerback again. I'm laughing because they've said for 4 years, Brad Holmes has said it, Dan Campbell has said it, we're taking the best available player. And yes, they had so many needs when they first got here, and they needed a right tackle, and they got Penei Sewell. They needed an edge. They got Aiden Hutchinson. They wanted that home run hitting wide receiver, Jamison Williams. They wanted the home run hitting running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. They wanted another linebacker last year in Jack Campbell. But all in all, going into this year with a team fresh off winning 12 games and getting to the NFC Championship game, they have been saying and preaching, we're going to take the best players available. We're going to take the best fits for Detroit. Who's ever on our board, we're taking them. All right. And tonight, the Lions selected Ennis Rakestraw Jr., the very fine, very good cornerback from Missouri. Now, go back weeks and all of these mock drafts. There were mock drafts that had the Lions taking Ennis Rakestraw at 29 because Terrion Arnold was gone. There was no way the Lions were getting Terrion Arnold at 29. No chance. There was no way they were getting Quinyon Mitchell at 29. No chance. And it was likely that it would be possibly a fit to get Rakestraw at 29 because that's exactly where he should go. So what did the Lions do last night? They knew they needed to move up a little bit, traded up with Dallas at 24, gave up a third-round pick to get Terrion Arnold because they felt he was the best cornerback on the board. Tonight, Brad Holmes drafted Ennis Rakestraw Jr., another corner, at 61, and then proceeded to tell us in the press conference tonight he was their second highest rated cornerback on their board. So Quinyon Mitchell, who seemed like it was everybody's pick to be the first corner taken, Lions had Arnold and Rakestraw ahead of Quinyon Mitchell. There were 6, 7, 8 cornerbacks taken tonight. And there were a handful that went ahead of Rakestraw. But the Lions love him. And you look at Pro Football Focus and you look at the two guys who were the best run defending cornerbacks, according to PFF and the scores, Rakestraw, Arnold. The Lions have them both. When they hired Deshae Townsend to take over the secondary, one of the first things Townsend said when he met the media was, I want my corners tackling. You don't tackle, you don't play. Anybody else figure that Carlton Davis for this year is a one-year rental? Yeah, I would say so. Because now you've got two guys here, long-term, young corners that are going to be cornerstone players for this franchise. So going into this year, yes, let's go through this. Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson, Emmanuel Mosley when he's healthy, Kendall Vildor, Khalil Dorsey, Stephen Gilmore, and now Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw, all going along with Brian Branch, who is, your slot corner, nickel corner, whatever you want to call him. The Lions don't have a lot of safety depth right now outside of Kirby Joseph and Ifeatu Melifonwu. They could maybe draft Sione Vaki tomorrow on day 3 from Utah. That's possible. It's possible that happens. Lions could add a safety. But you have to figure now with adding 2 cornerbacks in rounds 1 and 2, these kids are going to play. They got to figure out where they're going to put them on the field. And does that mean that Branch is sliding over to safety? Look, you can never have enough cornerbacks with the injuries that go on and everything else. But it's pretty obvious that Brad Holmes wanted corners. And I thought it was I'll be the first to tell you I was wrong. I thought it was a giant smokescreen when the Lions had 30 visits and half of them were cornerbacks. We kept telling you daily, daily here on Locked On Lions about the visits and all the players, all the cornerbacks, Andrew Phillips, Arnold, Kool-Aid, Rakestraw. Lions brought in a bleep ton of cornerbacks to work out in Allen Park. And we're like, what's with all the corners? Well, we know now Brad Holmes got tired of watching his defensive backs, especially late into last season, getting torched. Puka Nacua in the first playoff game, Mike Evans in the second playoff game, Ayuk and Debo in the third playoff game. At the end of the season, Justin Jefferson was putting up video game numbers against the Lions. Who else am I forgetting? Keenan Allen in the Charger game. Jefferson in 2 of the last 3. I'm forgetting somebody else that just lit the Lions up late in the season. It will come to me. It's 11:30 at night at the end of the week. I can barely talk. But it's pretty apparent that this front office and this coaching staff had enough of last year's secondary. They let go of some of the other corners that they've had. Will Harris and guys like that. Chase Lucas won't be back. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's gone. Cam Sutton, of course, is gone. And they've redone their room, that cornerback room. But man, back-to-back corners in rounds 1 and 2 tells you something about the way the Lions board, number 1, looked. And they could have had Cooper Beebe in the second round, the offensive lineman. They could have drafted, a big hoss up front. Could have had an edge rusher. And we'll tell you about some of the edge rushers that are on the board for tomorrow. Oh, by the way, for tomorrow, remember the Lions don't have a 4th round pick. They didn't have a 3rd round pick tonight because they traded number 73 to Dallas in the deal to move up last night to get Arnold So tomorrow they've got pick 29 in round 5, pick 25, number 201 overall from Tampa in the Carlton Davis trade. That's a round 6 pick. Round 6, pick 205. And then round 7, pick 249. They've got 4 picks tomorrow, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th. To sit here and tell you that I'm going to guess on what the Lions are going to do, they'll probably take another corner. We're going to tell you more about Rakestraw and dive a little bit deeper into him from Missouri. We will do that coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. It has been a crazy first couple of nights here in Detroit. What a fantastic job the NFL has done, and what a fantastic job the Lions in the city of Detroit have done. It was great to see Mayor Mike Duggan, no politics, but good to see the mayor up there announcing the Lions pick tonight. So that was pretty cool as well. We're back after this on Locked On Lions. All right, folks, we told you earlier in the program about our friends at LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are ready for the job, right for the role. All right. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. I've posted job openings on LinkedIn Jobs for my company that I work for, Financial Architects, as I run our marketing and business development. We're always looking for advisors. And we've got a job posting for an advisor, and I posted on LinkedIn Jobs. We get good quality candidates right then and there. LinkedIn, though, isn't just a job board. It helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking at the wrong place. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time to or resources to hire. That's why they can help you. All right. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. You should as well. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply.
This episode of your favorite Locked On podcast is brought to you by the best meal kit service in the game, Home Chef. No more having to answer the dreaded question, what are we going to do for dinner tonight? Thanks to Home Chef and their chef-designed recipes that are delivered directly to my door, all pre-packaged, pre-portioned. They even peel the garlic cloves for you. And each recipe, one of my favorites, black and mahi, comes with a full page of easy-to-read instructions that include customization options and pictures to guide you along the way through the step-by-step process, so you don't have to ask, is that what chard looks like? I cannot recommend Home Chef enough, especially right now, because for a limited time, Home Chef is giving Locked On listeners 18 free meals, free dessert for life, and of course, free shipping on your first box if you head to homechef.com/lockedon today. That's homechef.com/lockedon for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. Yes, you heard that right. Homechef.com/lockedon. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
Oh, great to have my man Ross Jackson, the host of Locked On Saints and runs our Locked On NFL network, with a little commercial there. Matt Derry back with you, Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network, on a late night, Friday night, 2 nights in the books, 3 rounds down, rounds 4 through 7 tomorrow. A lot of teams get a lot of good players on the last day of the draft on Saturday. So we appreciate you making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Again, excuse the voice, but long week, a lot of talking, a lot of everything else. And I am very, very hoarse, but feeling all right. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. is the newest Detroit Lion cornerback from Missouri. A lot of people were speculating that the Lions could have gotten him or were going to get him at number 29. Many people had mocked him. And again, if you would have told me at the start of the draft that the Lions were going to get Ennis Rakestraw Jr. and Terrion Arnold, I would have been like, you're crazy. Why would they need 2 cornerbacks? Well, Brad Holmes has said it. He feels like this is a guy that they've needed, that is tough, hard-nosed, and was tops on their board when it got to number 61 tonight. 6 feet tall, 188 pounds, out of Missouri. Junior, who came out after his 3rd season. And it was interesting because this was a kid that was a couple years ago, tore his ACL, but always found a way to get back on the field, always finds a way to battle wide receivers, and might not have the greatest 40 time. Had 1 interception in 3 years at Missouri, but yet, as Brad Holmes said tonight, there's a dog in him. There's something there. He's got dog in him. And it's similar to Terrion Arnold. Both of those guys come up and want to tackle. Both of those guys have grit. They're tough. And like I said earlier, Lions secondary really struggled toward the end of last season. And in the playoffs, gave up some obviously big plays in all 3 of the playoff games in that secondary. I still believe this team needs another edge rusher and needs to get better rushing the quarterback. But this club desperately, I mean, they went into the NFC Championship game last year with 3 corners starting the game. Cam Sutton on one side, Kendall Vildor on the other, and Brian Branch in the slot. Brian Branch is tremendous. We know that. He had a great rookie year last year, but you're replacing your 2 outside guys. Sutton's gone. Vildor's back, but he's not going to be a starter and might not even make the team. But you've got options now. You've got a guy in Carlton Davis who's playing for a contract, who's a veteran, who you traded for, and who's making $13 million. Amik Robertson was a free agent signee who has said, I'll play anywhere on the field, and I want minutes. I want to be a starter. And now you've just spent your first 2 draft picks on corners. So it's obvious that the front office felt like we're just going to stockpile at that position and not allow what we had allowed last year, which was big chunk plays from receivers late in the season. CeeDee Lamb was the other one. I went for nearly 200 yards against the Lions late in last season in the loss to the Cowboys. Justin Jefferson lit him up. Puka, Mike Evans, whatever. Lions are putting a stop to it. They have added a lot of help at corner. Is Rakestraw the perfect player? No. Is there a reason he dropped to 61? Yes. Absolutely. The kid from Rutgers went ahead of him. Forgot his name. Melton. Rakestraw was rated higher on most boards than Melton, but he went ahead of him. So this is a kid that's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, and that's exactly what the Lions want. The same thing with Jared Goff, who still to this day has that chip on his shoulder. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. The Lions are very high on him. They think he's got that dog in him. They love the effort. He was an academic All-American, so he's smart. Fits the character of the organization in the locker room. And again, this organization feels like it doesn't matter what position. If this is the highest rated player and it's obvious to them on their board, they're going to take him. And they also, how do you argue with their draft record over what they've done the last 4 years? Am I hopeful tomorrow that they can get some sort of backup offensive lineman or some depth on both O-line, D-line? They probably need another receiver. Yeah, I do. But there are still free agents out there. There's still opportunities for trade, possibly. There's going to be some June 1st cuts. We'll see. Right? So we'll wait and see. I mean, there were some other teams' drafts. I mean, I don't know what the Falcons are doing. We mentioned that last night. I thought the Steelers had a really good night tonight. Really good night, getting Roman Wilson and others. But the Lions obviously felt like this was a guy we had to have, and they don't care what position it is. Just like last year when they took a running back at 12, a linebacker at 18, and me and other dummies ripped them. And what they do tonight, the entire organization, at least the scouting department and team president, were in positional villain sweatshirts and all wearing all black. Black hoodies, black pants that said positional villain on them. I thought it looked a little tacky myself. Kind of weird seeing a 65, 66-year-old accountant, team president wearing a positional villain sweatshirt, matching with its buddies. Thought it was a little weird, but whatever. This is what the Lions do. Brad Holmes can wear these sweatshirts because he backs it up. He's brought in, like I said before, the other day, he's drafted 23 guys and 22 of them are still on the team. So we'll see if Rakestraw works out, and he's going to have to compete for minutes and for snaps because Mosley's back. Robertson was signed. Davis was signed. Arnold was drafted. Vildor is back. Stephen Gilmore wants to play. Khalil Dorsey wants to play. There's going to be major competition in that secondary. And Brian Branch is on the field. He's got to play. Has to play. All right, we mentioned some of the we mentioned that the Lions tomorrow, are sitting on a 5th round pick, 2 6s, and a 7. Who might be there for the Lions tomorrow? I will give you some names, and we will do that coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. All right, folks. I'll be honest, and I've said this on the show about Monopoly Go. My wife loves this game. Oh my God. She's got a competitive side. All right. And her competitive side is a big fan of Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. If it's been downloaded over 150 million times, you've heard of it. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. But the best part is she gets to mess with her friends on there as well. She can charge them rent on her iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly. She can heist their vaults for riches and leaderboards. Show her who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. And if you're competitive, you want to play a game on your phone that's fun, competitive, and because we all played Monopoly growing up, right? Check out Monopoly Go. Get in the game, join your friends. Download Monopoly Go right now, free on the App Store or on Google Play. It is Monopoly Go. All right, thanks everybody for a great week here on Locked On Lions. Trevor Sikkema next week from Pro Football Focus. We'll get him back on. Likely Bradford Banta as well, a former Lion. We're going to get him on as well next week just to recap the draft and get their thoughts on what the Lions have done. All right, mentioned it before. Who could be out there for Detroit tomorrow in round 5, 2 in round 6, and round 7 if these players drop? Here's who's still on the board after 3 rounds. Surprisingly, wide receiver from Oregon, Troy Franklin, has not been picked yet. Now, there were some character issue questions about Franklin, but I never thought in a million years he would be undrafted going into Saturday, but he is. So Troy Franklin is available. Tez Walker is available. Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice, is a guy that is available as far as on offense. Defensive players that are available going into Saturday. A couple of 4 edge rushers that are really good. Muhammad Kamara, Austin Booker, Cedric Johnson, and Javon Solomon. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the very good linebacker, is out there. And TJ Tampa has not been drafted yet, the cornerback, but are the Lions going to take another corner? You never know. I'm not ruling it out after seeing tonight. And the safety, Jaden Hicks. Another guy to watch is Sione Vaki, the safety from Utah, who also played some offense there. He was a guy that visited the Lions, talked to them at the combine, and came in for a top 30 visit. So those are just some names of some players that are available going into round 3 or round 4 tomorrow at the draft. And again, tonight was really cool because you had the Michigan football team being celebrated, and they brought the trophy out, and it was a little strange to see all this college football love, but I guess because we're in the state of Michigan, but I didn't expect them to all stand on the stage, and Roger Goodell's like, all right, great, get off the stage. That was a little strange also. But hey, if you're a Michigan fan and a Lions fan, you love that. But all the Michigan guys, like people that grew up around here. Brandon Graham making picks for Philly. Muhsin Muhammad making picks for Carolina. Mike Onwenu from Cass Tech. It was awesome making picks for the Patriots. The local flavor tonight, Barry Sanders out there with Mayor Duggan making the Lions selection. I just thought that was really cool. Detroit really did show out these first couple of days of the draft. The crowds have been unbelievable. Another 100,000 plus there tonight. And that included our good friend Michael Stanley, whose birthday is tomorrow. I met Michael and Vanessa today. They came up from down south and made him a promise. And we met up today, and I got a chance to say hello and introduce myself. Michael's birthday is tomorrow. So shout out and happy birthday to one of our great listeners and everydayers for sure, Michael Stanley. All right, let me rest my voice before Monday. We'll come back next week. We'll recap Saturday on Monday and get some thoughts from some of the experts next week on what the Lions did in this draft. So far, Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw, a couple of very good cornerbacks coming to Detroit to help that secondary, to say the least. We are back again tomorrow, right here on, or I'm not saying back tomorrow. No. Enjoy tomorrow. We're back again Monday here on Locked On Lions.